President Mills, the faculty and candidates are assembled. These commencement proceedings are now ready to begin. Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem and the Vermont State Song by the Northern Vermont University Choir.
Thank you. I would like to acknowledge the outstanding accomplishments of our music department. The dedicated faculty has prepared our students well, and please help me by showing one more time your appreciation for their singing. I will now introduce the platform party. I will ask them to briefly stand and then sit, and please save your applause until I've finished. On my left, starting at the far end, Professor Tyrone Shaw. Associate Dean Admissions and Enrollment, Penny Horrigan. Associate Dean of Students, Michelle Whitmore. And our commencement speaker, Elizabeth Holcomb. On my right, starting close to the podium, is Provost Nolan Atkins. Interim Academic Dean Les, sometimes known as Ken Kennett.
Thank you.
Trustee David Silverman. Trustee David Durfee, and the one and only mace bearer, Professor Ken Leslie. And I'm not done with Ken yet. He is retiring. This is his last one. Well, maybe we can get him back to show up. So give him a big round of applause for all he's done for NVU. And now, I want the people who really get the work done at this institution, the education and the support of our students, I would like the faculty and staff to please rise and receive your applause as well. I have two small announcements or things to say. First, I want to say this, that NVU acknowledges that the land on which we gather today are the traditional and unceded ancestral homelands of the Abenaki people. We learn in and from a region of landscapes of their ancestral home. I am very pleased to be able to celebrate this NVU commencement with you. The first for NVU as a complete founding class. Give or take a year or two that I may have missed in counting, this is my 45th commencement. Ooh, yeah, I tell you. It's also the hottest as well. And I can tell you, this is just as exciting for me as it is for you, I hope, as the first one was my own baccalaureate graduation. Is it exciting because it celebrates several important milestones or accomplishments, depending on how you want to describe it. One is that the name commencement signifies that you are commencing on a new, exciting part of your life with a credential signifying your professional expertise in the marketplace. Another is that it shows that by hard work and commitment, you can attain academic success in the demanding world of higher education. And for us that are witnessing this accomplishment today, it is a testimony to our faith in you when you entered NVU, and that we can take pride in the fact that our efforts have contributed to the development of the next class of informed and trained citizens who will add to our society's success, the true goal of higher education. So feel very, very good this day. Take the time to congratulate yourself. No problem with that. And then make sure you take the time to thank all those who helped you along the way. I know from lots of experience, no one gets to this place you are today on their own. And that is why I also want to say thank you to everyone under this tent or in the theater or streaming in. NVU is a family, and we can all take some credit for the accomplishments we honor today. So again, congratulations to the class of 2022. It is now my great honor to introduce our commencement speaker, Rebecca Holcombe. Rebecca is the daughter of United Nations employees and grew up in Fiji, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Sudan. So she truly has world experience. She earned a Bachelor of Art degrees from Brown University, this color, by the way, see, so you know. We share that. Master of Business Administration from Simmons University, and doctorate in education from the Harvard Graduate School of Education. Those are very strong accomplishments, but here's the best accomplishment of our speaker. She received certification as a classroom teacher through the Upper Valley Educators Institute and completed coursework for her public school administration certification at Lyndon State College. Along the way, she served as Secretary of Education. So it is, again, my pleasure to introduce your commencement speaker, Rebecca Holcombe.
It is such a privilege to be here. Thank you, President Mills, for introducing me and with that lovely introduction. And I am so grateful to Northern Vermont University because, yes, you did launch me into my career as an administrator. But I also want to take this moment while I have you here to honor President Mills because he did something that we all needed done. And when I still worked at the Agency of Education, and I will say that teaching and schools, that's really where it's at, but being at the Agency of Education was pretty exciting too. And one of the things that we used to do was when a really big problem came up at the Agency of Education that somehow was getting in the way of giving people opportunity that they deserved, we handed around a prize to our leadership team. And we actually handed around a golden plunger because we wanted to recognize the person who that week had done the best job of fighting for Vermont's children. And I'm going to give this to you, President Mills, today, because you need to be recognized for the incredible work you did to remind people how important Northern Vermont University is, how important public universities are, for the incredible role they play in making sure that every one of our Vermont students has opportunity to get their best talents developed and to go out and build strong communities. Whether you're in business, whether you're going into the arts to remind us to hold on to our soul, whether you're the educators who are raising the next generation, or the people who are keeping us healthy and safe. The people who do that work are the people in this room and the people who came before you. And we needed to be reminded of that. And so I'm not giving you a golden plunger because you're leaving the state. You want a golden plunger, you better come back, President Mills. But I'd like to hand you a silver plunger to thank you for getting rid of that terrible, stinky misperception that every student in this room isn't worthy and didn't deserve the best the state of Vermont could give them. So thank you for that service. And I'm going to get to you, students, but I also want to thank the faculty and staff of Northern Vermont University in Johnson and in NVU as well, at Lyndon as well. Because a couple years ago, this state didn't have your back. And we basically told you to do a backflip in the air, and then we took away the crash mats while you were still up in the air. But darn it, didn't you go ahead and show up for your students anyway? And Johnson and the Badgers are back. And I want to take us all to take a minute to thank your faculty because they are what makes this place be here for you so that you can go out and be the best people you can be. And for you students, in this most challenging of times, I am so humbled and so in awe of the faith that you have in your future and the hard work you did to come here and to be where you are today. I have a daughter myself who's graduating in a few weeks. And so, of course, I asked her what I ought to say today. She, of course, got right to the point. She said, "Be really short, Mom. They really don't want to listen to you." And she didn't even know about the cruise last night. So my daughter also said, just tell them how amazing it is that they survived to graduation. And she's right. She's right. In your 4 years of college, you came through successive traumas, a moment of reckoning in our country. You came through a pandemic that killed almost 1 million Americans. You came through the isolation and the disconnection that it caused. Many of you earned new caretaking responsibilities, even as you were trying to be a student and care for yourself. You came through the inequities that this pandemic exposed and amplified. And you even came through and came back despite a threat of closure of your beloved university. And here you are. How amazing you are that you have such belief in our institutions and such belief and hope in your future and the future of this great state that you came back. Somebody usually tells you at an event like this to work hard, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and save the world. But after a set of years like the ones we've been through, nobody should ever tell you that again, because none of us can succeed on our own. We succeed and we thrive together. We work together to make sure everybody can bring their best game to the future. You're here today because you have the stamina and the belief in each other to build the world we need. But you're also here because of the people and institutions like this proud institution that lent a hand and stayed at your side through both challenge and joy. And honestly, that badger out there, I'm hot up here. I don't know how that badger's doing it. If that isn't showing up to show you how amazing you are, I don't know what is. There are many, many lessons of this pandemic. One is that together as people, we can't protect opportunity and fight off harms, whether it's the virus, climate change, or racial injustice, without, to paraphrase Abraham Lincoln, doing everything we can through our shared efforts and our government to protect and do what we can't do on our own. But when we do work together, we can be the difference we need. Consider this. Before the Americans with Disabilities Act was passed, none of our spaces, none of our public schools, and most of our businesses were not accessible to many of our family members and neighbors. People with physical disabilities often chose classes not based on their interests, but based on whether they could actually even physically get to the classroom. This was before Zoom, by the way. They had to major in first floor, no stairs. They sometimes had to choose jobs the same way. They couldn't get to where they could bring their best talents because we were too careless to figure out how to make sure they had access. That's terrible. Think of the utter and complete waste of talent represented by that kind of careless barrier to the success and brilliance of so many. Angela Blackwell once wrote a piece called The Curb Cut Effect about a group of activists back in the 1970s who fought for access for people with disabilities. Because back then, many of those people did not have support to get access to the things they needed. They faced fierce opposition, and people often told them that making sure they had access was too expensive, or they just needed to toughen up and work harder. So one night, what this group of activists did is they rolled out in their wheelchairs in the streets of Berkeley, and they poured a concrete curb cut on a street before rolling off again into the night. Now, if you're from Vermont, you may not know what a curb is, but think of that ramp coming up to this stage. And think of what a difference a small change like that in our physical environment makes and what it says about everybody's right to be here. By slapping down that illegal ramp on the ground, those activists showed us something different, and they showed us a different way to live. We discovered surprising and unexpected benefits to all of us of making our public spaces truly public. When we looked over time, 9 out of 10 people preferred to use the curb cut. Parents use them to push strollers, workers use them to move loads, elderly people use them to get up the curbs without tripping, and young people use them for bikes and skateboards. And just as importantly, by that small change, we figured out how to not lose the potential and contributions of many due to barriers that didn't need to exist. I'm not going to tell you that life ahead of you will always be easy. It won't be. There's many barriers out there, including many that you have been working so hard in your 4 years to take down. But study after study is showing us that the more unequal we are, the more we try to close doors on some people, the unhappier we are as communities and as a nation. And too many of us are unhappy right now. We're also learning that when inequality decreases, when we truly welcome every neighbor as ourself, everybody's happier. The happiest nations in the world are those with lower levels of inequality. The more we make sure everybody has a fair chance, the more creative and resilient we are as a nation, and the more likely we are to have shared and sustained prosperity. And you know this. I don't need to give you this advice because you are living it now. The fight against racial justice and dignity for LGBTQ students, the insistence that how much money your parents earn shouldn't determine the opportunities you have. These battles are happening every day, and you've been leading them from the bottom. When you push for a BIPOC resource center or sponsor Juneteenth, you're saying that we are better together. 80% of you are from Vermont, and will stay here. And about 50% of you are the first in your families to go to college. When we as a state have your back, when we say you matter, you the graduates of Northern Vermont University and Johnson matter, we are saying that we are all better together, and we are investing you to be our future. In Vermont, where only 40% of our people have degrees like the one you are earning today, just think about that. Think about the privilege you have just earned. Our state colleges are quite literally the curb cuts that let more of us better ourselves and bring new talents and new passions to the work of building a strong Vermont. We are all better every time a community like this one stands up and shows up and insists that everyone has dignity and worth. And everybody deserves a fair chance. We can't leave it just to people who have more power to make that decision for us. When I became a principal 100 years ago, a mentor told me to be like a fist in a velvet glove. What she meant was that to protect the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness for all, you have to be willing to just stand up and say no to the people who would take it away, not just from you, but from the person sitting next to you, from people who've decided that they're less worthy. There is no freedom without unity. When basic freedoms like voting and access to education and healthcare depend on the whim of a majority, they really aren't freedoms. To make them freedoms, we need to show up for them. To survive the last 4 years and end up on this stage, you did that, and you already know that. So be kind as you go out, but be insistent. Be loud or quiet, but whoever you are and whoever you choose to be and wherever you choose to work, be that fist in a velvet glove, kind but firm in standing up for the changes that we need to make sure Vermont is bright and prosperous into the future, for proud public institutions like this one, and for defending the right to life, liberty, and happiness for all, because you and we are all worth it. So from the bottom of my heart, I can't tell you what a privilege it is to be here today, to honor you, to honor your incredible accomplishments of the last 4 years, and to cheer you on as you begin the next chapter in your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. The sincerity and passion of your remarks, I hope, will stay with our students for a long time. I now call on our student speakers to come forward and present their remarks. The first speaker is Elizabeth Sirico as the graduate speaker.
Hello, I'm Liz, and 3 years ago, I decided to pursue my second master's degree in clinical mental health counseling as a step towards my goal of obtaining licensure. This decision was made after learning that my first master's was not going to support me in achieving that goal. It was a difficult decision to take on that endeavor. After looking into several programs, I came across the Master of Science program in clinical mental health, which offered a weekend format. This seemed to fit my busy lifestyle at the time as a full-time working mom of a rambunctious 2-year-old. I arrived to the VTC Williston campus for my first weekend, 45 minutes early no less because I misread the syllabus. I was full of nerves and excitement and, to be honest, felt pretty ill-prepared. Those nerves were quickly put to ease as I met my cohort, who would be enduring the process of the next 3 years with me. I had no idea what that journey at the time would have in store for me. It was a road full of unexpected twists and turns that required perseverance, dedication, and a village of support that helped me determine my purpose. Twist one, nobody prepares you for a global pandemic to strike in the middle of graduate school. That would result in a quick pivot to virtual learning. Upon entering the Zoom world, not only was I forced to learn to sit in front of a computer and focus for extended periods of time, which those who know me know that's not my strong suit, I learned that I had to create a learning environment that best worked for me. I learned to beat the temptations of distractions and multitasking, and our dedicated faculty provide us breakout spaces to practice our skills, learn the material, and frequent breaks. They switched to that world without a skip of a beat. They had empathy and understanding for how COVID was impacting not only us as students, but our family. Prior to virtual learning, my cohort had developed close relationships, and it was in their faces on the Brady Bunch screens that excited me for our weekends together. When seeing each other in person, we were having baby shower potlucks and midday dance parties, frequent text messages, and our bonds did not change when we transitioned to virtual. We had group text messages and email strands that were created to provide each other with words of encouragement and regular check-ins to see how each of us were progressing. We were able to have some small get-togethers where we met each other's families, and late-night text messages were sent when one of us felt like giving up. And whenever overwhelming stress took over for me, it was my cohort and my peers who I reached out to, knowing that they knew exactly what I was going through. Their responses were always of love, support, and motivation to keep moving forward. These relationships I know will carry with me and that will continue to grow because we grew from just a cohort to friends, and they became a part of my village. Twist 2 occurred in March 2021 when I learned that my family would be growing and I would be having a baby in September. Again, no one prepares you for pregnancy during graduate school, and while trying to balance an internship and the start of master's project, but surprise, sometimes the universe has other plans for us. Once learning of my pregnancy, I went to my husband and our families, convinced that I was going to need to take a leave of absence. How was I supposed to participate in classes, schoolwork, internship, a full-time job, and raise 2 small children? My husband and both of our families were committed to my success and not letting me give up, reminding me that I had support, I could do this, and that it would be all hands on deck. Our families stepped up to the plate, covered weekends to watch my children. My husband took on extra daddy duty, so I had time for homework. There were maybe a few tears, and I was exhausted, both mentally and physically. There were times that I thought for sure there was no way I was going to make it to this stage today, let alone be chosen to give this address. Had it not been for the support of my village, I may have. I have found myself over the last week, since class is wrapping up with all of this newfound free time, I've been exploring ways to increase some self-care and me time, which has been unforeign. A part of my routine is listening to The Daily J by Jay Shetty on the Calm app. This week, one of Jay's daily topics was focused on purpose versus pleasure. Hedonia, he defined, is an ancient Greek word for good spirit, which is often interpreted by engaging in pleasurable activities. However, Jay emphasized the importance of achieving hedonia through determining our purpose. The sweet spot, as he described, is often identifying our skill set, plus what we love, plus determining what serves the world. He reflected on how often people seek out instant gratification and pleasurable activities, and that those may get in the way of us finding our true purpose. My hope for all of the graduates is that their educational journey has helped them in defining their purpose, feeling confident in their skill set, identifying what they love and how they want to serve the world. For me, I learned that I love helping and connecting with others, and that this makes an influence in the lives of the people that I serve. to make a positive impact in the world, which NVU and this program has supported me in developing the skill set. As we sit here today, I encourage you all to explore what is your purpose. How did the journey here at NVU support you in achieving that? Our hard work and dedication supported us in achieving that purpose. Think about the times that you did not allow yourself to engage in pleasurable activities so that you could pursue and achieve your purpose, the sacrifices that you have all made. These sacrifices helped us grow, become stronger, and more resilient. And let's be honest, not a lot of classes can say we conquered a degree in the middle of the pandemic. We should be proud of what we have accomplished and in the ways in which we grew. Be thankful for all of those people that have supported us along the way, and enter this exciting new chapter with the excitement to share our purpose with others. Mark Twain once said, "The most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why." Side note, my husband told me it was really cheesy to use a Mark Twain quote, but according to my Google search of how to give a good speech, you have to have a quote. So that's where we're at. Today can be the day that we find out why we are here, and we can leave our mark on the world. Congratulations to the class of 2022 for not only graduating, but on your dedication and perseverance throughout your journey. And I want to especially thank my family, husband, peers, and professors who helped me to the finish line. Now let's all celebrate.
Thank you, Liz. Quite a story, and I honestly don't know how you did it. Our next speaker is Flora Say Kim Chessman Chaplin, NVU online speaker.
Before I begin, I'd like to give a bow of gratitude to the people who helped me be here today. My family, friends, beloved pup, therapist, medical team, academic advisors, internship supervisor, and professors. Your support, guidance, wisdom, and insight were the guiding lights along the way. Thank you. These last 2 years have been full of unprecedented trials and tribulations, personally and collectively. And so as I sit here today with the great honor of speaking to all of you, I want to commend each and every one of us for our resilience, perseverance, and adaptability amidst such immense change and uncertainty. Each of us has walked our own unique journey to get to this day, but no matter how many unexpected twists and turns the path took, we have all arrived at this point, having evolved via our struggles and found our strengths. Congratulations to the Northern Vermont University class of 2022. This college experience did not go as I had so meticulously planned, but then again, not much in life does. At the age of 11, I became chronically ill. Months turned to years, which turned to a decade more, and as the time passed and my conditions progressed, I was forced to find new avenues by which to access my education. Despite beginning college at age 17, it has taken me over 6 years to earn this degree, with many roadblocks, detours, and pauses along the way. From a very young age, I dreamt about becoming a physician, and when I transferred to NVU Johnson in 2016 from the CCV Early College program, that's exactly where my sights were set. But as is so often the case, life had other plans. Orientation wasn't even over before I was back in the hospital. Between studying for chemistry exams and learning about Maslow's pyramid, I ran IVs, iced swollen knees, and chugged copious amounts of caffeine to make it to out-of-state doctor's visits and back in time for class. Despite making honors, by the end of that first semester, I was beginning to realize that perhaps the plan I had so strictly mapped out was not in fact a realistic one. As my health continued to decline, I found myself seeking an alternative means to continue my education. In the summer of 2018, I enrolled in NVU Online as a psychology major. The past few years in this program have taught me the importance of ingenuity and advocacy within our life's pursuits and passions. Education, for me, has always been an essential fuel to my fire. It gives me a light in the darkness, a means of growing, even when everything else feels stagnant. It challenges me to look beyond what's familiar or comfortable and to expand in my views and beliefs and to break open barriers to new ways of perceiving and being in the world around me. I suspect it fills others in similar, albeit individually distinct ways. I have found teachers in unexpected places, in suffering and joy and loss and love, in animals and nature, art and books, in music and the whispers of those no longer with us. An online program was never my college plan, but it gave me the gift of continuing on in my educational pursuits even when my body could not. I was given a set of circumstances that, without the option of an online program, would have prevented me from reaching my goal of obtaining a bachelor's degree. I would like to encourage each and every one of you to persevere in pursuing and creating the educational experiences that work for you. To have trust that sometimes the unexpected and unplanned leads us to callings not otherwise discovered. To stand strong in your pursuits of what sets your soul on fire. Learning is lifelong, and you get to create the curriculum. Be it embracing a practice that expands your consciousness, learning a new instrument or craft, seeking out a mentor or internship, developing an area of independent study, enrolling in a college course, or for that matter, an entire degree program, you are the agent of your education, and you are the sculptor whose hands get to mold it to fit to your unique circumstances, interests, and needs. Knowledge is power, and the ways in which we may accrue it are infinite. I have completed this degree largely from bed, wrapped in blankets, propped by pillows, sustained by IV fluids and medications, ice packs, and heating pads. I wrote this speech from bed too. Through 2 neurosurgeries, some extremely turbulent emotional times, several life-changing diagnoses, 6 moves, a global pandemic, and many moments of uncertainty, perhaps the greatest lesson I've learned is it's easy to give up. It's much harder to surrender as a strategy to succeed. Thank you, and congrats to the graduates of 2022.
Flora say one of the brand pillars of the soon-to-be Vermont State University is accepting challenges, facing challenges, and perseverance. I think you might be the perfect example of that brand pillar going forward. And now our third speaker representing the campus undergraduates, Serena Pesinkowski.
At 17, I begrudgingly went to a college fair, even though I was determined to take a gap year and better prepare myself, and eventually attend a college closer to home, like within the 3-hour mark, not the 7 hours. That day, I instead discovered Johnson State College, as it was then known, which was the only out-of-state school I looked at, and was more out of curiosity rather than an intent to apply. Immediately, something about Johnson spoke to me so strongly that I disregarded all my previous plans and did the unthinkable. I followed my intuition instead of acquiescing to my anxiety. In fact, I chose to come to Johnson without ever even having the opportunity to visit beforehand. To take such a leap of faith is unlike me now and was near insane at the time. So I took that leap of faith and I fell. I'd been right. I wasn't ready for college. My freshman year was what you might call a disaster. As my mental health declined, my academics took a nosedive, and they really just played right into each other. Things went about as badly as I could have ever anticipated. I withdrew from or failed almost all of my classes and was on academic probation for a semester, which, again, in turn, meant that I sank deeper into my depression. All that I'd worried about was coming to fruition. But, and there is a but, Johnson caught me when I fell. Kindness, encouragement, and advice was coming at me from all directions. Johnson picked me up, dusted me off, and put me right back on track, more determined than before. At 20, I sat alone in my room back home, 1 month into isolation, fighting alongside all of you to keep Johnson alive. I desperately crafted emails the same length as my papers for Dr. J, begging everyone who would listen to see Johnson as I do, as much of a safe haven as it is a place of learning. At nearly 23, I stand before you today as a graduate of 2 programs as well as a speaker. Never in my wildest dreams would I have envisioned either would be true. All of this is to say that in the last 5 years, I've accomplished quite a bit more than I expected to. And as cliche as it may sound, we are incredibly resilient, and we've accomplished quite a lot as a class, more than most, if you ask me. I think it is quite easy to lose sight of the details within the big picture, and I struggle with that, so I want to hold up a mirror to some of the things that we've done that are easy to overlook in the grand scheme of things. This is largely the first incoming class of NVU. We all directly felt the shaky ground beneath us and chose to continue to walk upon it anyway. We've spent more time in college during COVID than we did pre-COVID, which is crazy to think about, but we adapted and we prevailed. And in the midst of all the initial COVID chaos, the future of NVU was nearly cut short. We banded together as a community to ensure our own future and secured a future for classes to come. That itself is no small feat, and it's a legacy of our own. Clearly, we've pushed back at every obstacle that stood in our way collectively. And I'm sure everyone here today has faced some personal setbacks as well. I personally have struggled with mental health struggles, financial hardship, and academic stress, which are some of the most common, yet the most debilitating challenges that college students face. No matter how long it's taken or how hard it's been to get here, I hope today is imbued with a similar sense of pride, triumph, and relief for you as it is for me. And I do feel proud, triumphant, and relieved. Yet I also feel a deep sense of melancholy today. I am only able to stand here today because of the Johnson community at large and how it has embraced me and strengthened me. At times when I was drowning, there was always someone who decided instead of simply throwing me a life preserver, they would simply pluck me out of the water and drop me off on stable land, sometimes more stable than where I'd been before. The opportunities I've been granted, the friendships I've made, the things I've learned both in the classroom and about myself are invaluable. To leave behind what has truly become my home in the last 5 years is going to be difficult. As I leave physically, I'll be taking the spirit of Johnson with me. Resiliency, advocacy, perseverance, kindness, determination, and the pursuit of knowledge will lead me forward, as I hope will be the same for all of you. To take that spirit of Johnson and to spread it to the world is again a legacy of our own. I think back on the incredulous look on my family's faces when I told them I'd chosen this tiny school in the middle of nowhere, Vermont. I couldn't even tell them what made me make such a decision, and truthfully, I still don't know. All I know is that this is where I was meant to be. Johnson has been much of what I was looking for and plenty of things I didn't even know I needed. Case in point is something that I only recently realized. There is a very important feeling to the dynamic of growing and changing as the university does as well. I came to Johnson State College. I have transformed along with NVU, and I look forward to seeing it through into Vermont State University. And I hope all of you do as well. To my fellow graduates, I hope you take the time in the coming weeks to fully reflect on your experience here. As much as commencement is a celebration, you can't sum up 4 years in one day. Today is a celebration of our perseverance and accomplishments, but a lot of the smaller details may escape you in the frenzy and all the picture taking. Graduating is an accomplishment to be celebrated no matter what, but having been on such a roller coaster for the last 4 years, especially just even the last 2, we have more to celebrate than I think we all realize. We've done remarkable things here, and I'm grateful to say I've been a part of it all with you. As a direct result of my experiences here, I am more fearless, more driven, and now more than ever, I look forward to what the future holds. Though I'm still anxious about it, because, I'm still me. Everyone, I hope you take a leap of faith that leads you to your Johnson. And I want to leave you all with a quote that was recently said to me, and it is by author Octavia Butler, that I feel sums up my experience here quite succinctly. All that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you. Thank you.
Serena, I go out in the community and tell people that NVU is a family, and your words expressing your experience here shows that that advertising is correct. We are a family. And by the way, thank you for your ID. I'll use it to get lunch later today. You can pick it up later. Yeah. Okay, we're now at the point of our proceedings where it's really all about. We confer degrees. Now, there's an important thing to say. This shouldn't be a quiet event. All right? I want to hear those supporters out there send the message how proud you are, how excited you are, and how thrilled maybe the tuition payments are over, right? But you need to express to these graduates who are achieving such a high point in their career how much you appreciate what they have done. I now turn to Professor Shaw.
Will the candidates for the degree of Masters of Arts, Master of Science, or Master of Fine Arts please rise? President Mills, I have the pleasure of presenting these candidates for the degree of Master of Arts, Master of Science, or Master of Fine Arts.
Through the authority of the power of the Board of Trustees of the Vermont State Colleges, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts, Master of Science, or Master of Fine Arts as appropriate in each case, with all the rights, privileges, and honors, as well as responsibilities and obligations appertaining thereto.
Will the master's graduates please come forward? Michael D. Anderson III. Morgan Brittany Blanchard. Slow down.
There we go, we do this, take that. There you go, congratulations.
Christina Carr. Amanda Gogashal. Jessica L. Daniels. Ryan Davis. Nicola Martino Delaney. Hollis Andrew Easter, cum laude. Joseph Thomas Lavenvay. Mark Lucas. Elizabeth N. Sirico. Courtney Scar. Amy Snyder. Amanda Talbert. Kaylee Nicole Torre. Haley West. Kayla Farah. Ashley Nicole Perkins. Sierra Williams. Deneen S. Russell. Christine Whitehouse. Will the candidates for the bachelor's and associate's degrees please rise? President Mills, I have the pleasure of presenting these candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Associate of Arts, or Associate of Science.
Through the authority of the Board of Trustees of the Vermont State Colleges, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Fine Arts, Associate of Arts, or Associate of Science as appropriate in each case, with all the rights, privileges, and honors, as well as responsibilities and obligations appertaining thereto.
Will the bachelor's and associate's graduates please be seated? Will the graduates within the business, accounting, and economics department please come forward? Adam Fontaine. Justin Paul Fuller. Elliot Hanna. Gregory Gallagher. Wyatt Adler Moberg. Jessica L. Lovely, magna cum laude. Jordan Pelland. Lawson Willett, summa cum laude. Juliana Reed. Robert Small. Caden Sweat, magna cum laude. Collie Washburn, cum laude. Would graduates, please, in culture, humanities, and politics, please come forward. This is a rowdy bunch. That's good. Patrick Austin. Jack Battistoni. Caitlin Callan. Timothy Lyons, cum laude. Emily Lindstedt. Emily Christine Huff. Nathaniel Belanger, magna cum laude. Kaylee Marie Manchester, magna cum laude. Brendan Marrier, summa cum laude. Dylan Mears. John Ronert. Nicole Wallace, summa cum laude. Will the graduates in education please step forward. Emma Elizabeth Ainsworth, magna cum laude. Zoe Clark. Savannah Dufresne. Colleen Elaine Ferris. Jaden Alexis Hudson, magna cum laude. Kayla Knight. Chris Wood, summa cum laude. Will the graduates in environmental and health sciences please come forward? Alexandra Rose Artrick, magna cum laude. Kylie Berry. Abby Burgess, cum laude. Heaven Conger. Hillary O. DeVarney. Dylan Garvey, magna cum laude. Kiara Denise Jacobs. Kara Howell, magna cum laude. Haley Mae Mason, cum laude. Malik Moore. Makaya Yale Quintner. Jenna Murawski. Tabitha Elise Rubitsky, summa cum laude. Dylan Ralston. Becca Simon, magna cum laude. Brookshire. Wesley Swanson. Alexis N. Smith. Harry A. Tillotson, magna cum laude. Patrick Edgar Vorse. Connor Weir. Adelit Ruko Mangana. Will the graduates in fine and performing arts please come forward? Jacob Egeldinger, cum laude. Daniel Ariola. Gabriel Keats Densmore. Charles Richard Baylor. Desiree Detkowitz, cum laude. Amber Jolene Follensby. Garrison French. Selena Maylin French. Morgan Elizabeth Grace. Trey Hancock, cum laude. Abby Judkins. Finnegan Watson, cum laude. Victoria Monares. Timothy Pinkney. Carlos A. Serrano. Frank Tomasi, cum laude. Finn Watsula, magna cum laude. Olivia Wilkward George. Nick Wolf. Will the graduates in interdepartmental studies please come forward? Hannah E. Sarsoli. Alexandra Barry. Virginia Werner Boyne. Hazen H. Converse. Hannah Cornelius. Scott Conrad Frenier. Neil T.S. Flanders. Casey Lange. Bethany Harrington, summa cum laude. Safari Pelilo. I know. Robbie Marr. Diane A. Wilson, summa cum laude. One ad lib here, folks. I missed Robbie's magna cum laude. He advised. Will the graduates in mathematics please come forward? Mia Stephanie McKenzie. Eric Michael Schmidt. Will the graduates in psychology and human services please come forward? That is Flores A. Kim Chessman Chaplin. Chanel Bailey. Leslie Babick. Kayla Ball. Jasmine Marie Brooks. Zach Burke, summa cum laude. Olivia Cloxton. Olivia Raven Sky Forcier. Elizabeth Jordan Garcia, summa cum laude. Janice Griggs, summa cum laude. Sarah Hobbs. Jamie M. Allen Jones, summa cum laude. Breja Cuadio. Serena Pesinkowski. Patrick Regal. Amanda Rosalvo, magna cum laude. Nicholas Sharat, magna cum laude. Amber Thomas. Skylar Vandervoort, magna cum laude. Mary Elizabeth Wescombe, cum laude. Kelsey Walters. Will the graduates in writing and literature please come forward? Morgan Howes. Danielle Samuelson, cum laude. Will the candidates for Certificate of Higher Education please rise? President Mills, I have the pleasure of presenting these candidates for the Certificate of Higher Education.
Through our partnership with the College Steps program, I am pleased to confer upon these non-degree students the Certificate of Higher Education. Their work over the past 2 years has not only benefited their own development, has helped to further our mission of diversity and inclusion.
Jacob Dow. Arnold Eugene Johnson. Devin Lutz Barra.
All right, we just got a few more things to do because you're not official. And if you don't do it, you won't be official. All right, now what you got to do is move that tassel to the other side. All right? And there's one more thing you got to do for me. You got to stand up, turn around, face the people who got you here, and give them a round of applause. And my award for the loudest cheers was right over there in that Okay, we're getting near the end. At this time, I would like to invite the NVU Chorale to lead us all in the singing of the Northern Vermont University alma mater.
Please be seated until the platform officials, faculty, and graduates recess. Thank you again to Rebecca Holcombe, and congratulations to our graduates. And thank you to the families for attending this commencement celebration. These commencement proceedings are now concluded.